Welcome back. All right, today's career video is on Rob Niedermayer. Unexpected, I'm sure. I don't think there's going to be many people who think, well, clearly the next guy Shannon's going to talk about is Rob Niedermayer. So what's interesting is the last career video I did was on Scott Mellanby. And I thought, okay, so I want to talk about another Florida player, as a tie-in. Why not Rob Niedermayer, which ties into, of course, Scott Niedermayer, who I talked about in a video not that long ago. And without Rob Niedermayer, do you end up with Scott Niedermayer in Anaheim, right? So, 93-94 is his first season in the NHL after being picked 5th overall by the Florida Panthers. Rob Niedermayer was seen as a very good two-way center who had a lot of upside offensively. That was the idea behind drafting him so early. In a draft class that had, some hits and misses in there. So he played 65 games that first year, 9 goals, 17 assists, 26 points. But the expectation is, well, that was a slow rookie season, but he's going to pick it up. His second year, 94-95, a lockout-shortened season, 48 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. And that's where people start saying, oh, maybe he's a bust. Maybe it's just not going to work. Florida's big center that they're hoping at least becomes a second-line center, maybe it's not going to work. 95-96, he busts out. He has what proves to be a career year. 82 games, 26 goals, 35 assists, 61 points. And that's why, watch player in their third year. Usually that's at the end of their entry-level contracts. So they're playing for their next contract and see how well they play. In the playoffs that year, that's where Florida goes to the Stanley Cup final. Rob Niedermayer is part of that team that goes on that unexpected run. A very blue-collar team, workhorse team, 4 lines rotated. And Niedermayer plays very well. 22 games in the playoffs, 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points. And of course, they get stopped by the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup final. 96-97, his totals come down. He only plays 60 games that year, 14 goals, 24 assists, 38 points. And in 5 playoff games, he gets 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points. So what's happened to him during that season and the one that follows is he gets concussions here and there. And it is possible for concussions to derail your career while you're still playing. And injury can definitely affect your play. So in 97-98, only plays 33 games, 8 goals, 7 assists, 15 points. So the output, not bad. He's scoring at about a 20-goal pace over a full season, right? So that's pretty good. But the following season, 98-99, he does play a full season, 82 games, 18 goals, 33 assists for 51 points. 99-2000, he plays 81 games, but his offense drops off. 10 goals, 23 assists, 33 points. The Florida Panthers get back into the playoffs. He plays 4 games there with 1 goal added. So again, your conversation at this point is, here's a player who's drafted early, and it hasn't really panned out, right? He's not the top 2 center that Florida had hoped for. And so 2000-2001, he plays 67 games, 12 goals, 20 assists, 32 points. No playoffs. So Florida, a team that's in flux, decides they're going to trade him. And so they make a trade. They send him to Calgary in exchange for Valeri Bure and Jason Weimer. So that means both Bure brothers played in Florida. And so for Niedermayer, he gets a chance for a fresh start in Calgary. In 2001-2002, he only plays 57 games that year for Calgary. 6 goals, 14 assists, 20 points. So the offense is not there. That third season, that big breakout season that made it look like, hey, maybe he's trending up, turns out that's not going to be the case. And again, whether it's the concussions that caused that drop-off to stay that way, or it's just he's not that offensive player at the NHL level. 2002-2003, he plays 54 games for Calgary, 8 goals, 10 assists, 18 points. And they see the writing on the wall, so they make a move. They send him off to the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim in exchange for Jean-François Damphousse, goaltender, and Mike Commodore, who of course is still quite popular online. So he plays in Anaheim after the deadline, plays 12 games, 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. And then Anaheim goes on a run. They go to the Stanley Cup final. It is the second Stanley Cup final for Rob Niedermayer. He plays 21 games in that playoff run, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. So important player to Anaheim for that run to the Stanley Cup final. And it's 7 years after that first one. I'm guessing he appreciated that one even more. Because later on in your career, you don't know when you're going to come back again. And for Anaheim, they got close. They couldn't get over that hump. New Jersey beats them, but they got close. 2003-2004, plays 55 games for Anaheim. 12 goals, 16 assists for 28 points. So we have the lockout. Coming out of the lockout, well, he's going to start playing with his brother now. His brother comes to Anaheim, so still the Mighty Ducks for one more year. 76 games that first year after the lockout, 15 goals, 24 assists, 39 points. So very good offensive numbers, considerably better than what he'd been producing prior to that. 16 games in the playoffs, 1 goal, 3 assists. So Anaheim has a decent run in the playoffs. Things look good. 2006-2007, they now drop the Mighty Ducks logo and name, and they become the Anaheim Ducks. And they're not wearing these yet either. They were just wearing the Wordmark Ducks logos. But I wanted to wear this for the video because I like this one a lot. Anyways, so then 2006-2007, it is a low season for him offensively. 82 games, 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points. But Rob Niedermayer in that fourth line for Anaheim is key. They play that shutdown role. This is where Rob Niedermayer shows he's important. Yes, his brother, more important to that Stanley Cup win for them. But in that Stanley Cup run, 21 games, 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points. And it is the first time that brothers had won the Stanley Cup together since Dwayne and Brent Sutter did it with the Islanders in 1982 and 1983. So this wasn't something that happens a lot. Pavel and Valeri Bure did not win a Stanley Cup in Florida when they played together. As sad as that is and all. But it is interesting because here he is winning that Stanley Cup and having his greatest success, in a team environment. And yet his numbers are abysmal. If he puts up those numbers in year 3, Florida's shipping him out after year 3. So he did reinvent himself. And this is something I talk about with young players. This is part of the reason why when after year 2 and you're ready to write somebody off, I say not so fast. Because 2007, which is 13 years after that rookie year, he wins the Stanley Cup. 2007-2008, 78 games played, 8 goals, 8 assists, 16 points. He just plays 2 playoff games and no points. 2008-2009, he has a bit of a resurgence in his goals that year. 79 games, 14 goals, 7 assists for 21 points. 13 games in the playoffs, he adds 3 assists. So September 25th of 2009, he actually ends up going to New Jersey. So he ends up signing with the Devils as a free agent, plays 71 games that first year. 10 goals, 12 assists, 22 points, and 5 games in the playoffs for no points. The first year is also his only year in New Jersey. He ends up moving on to Buffalo. He signs there July 7th of 2010 as a free agent in what would be his final season in the NHL. 71 games, 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points, and in the playoffs, 7 games played, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. So it's an interesting career in that this is a guy who people would say he's a bust. He played 1,153 games. But he's a bust. He had 186 goals, 283 assists, 469 points in his career. He managed to make himself useful in a bottom 6 role so that he played a long time in the NHL. And it is that adjustment that some first-round draft picks are able to make and some don't. In the playoffs, he plays 116 games, 18 goals, 25 assists, 43 points. 1993, he won World Junior Championship gold for a World Juniors team from Canada. There was a lot of hype about that team. And then in 2004, he wins a gold medal at the World Championships with the Canadian team. So, wore a Canadian jersey a couple times, had some success, and again, learned to play his role and played it very, very well in that 06-07 year where that fourth line for Anaheim was fantastic. And maybe that was something they learned in 2003 was let's go out and get ourselves the elite defenseman we need, and we really need an identity on that fourth line that makes things better for us when we get into those big series later on in the playoffs. So Rob Niedermayer, good long career, good player. Again, may not have lived up to that advanced billing, but you don't play 1,153 games in the NHL if you're a bad player. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.